In this video, we are going to discuss about the concept of array of structures. So we have seen how to create a structure variable, how to create the members of the structure variable, and how can we assign the values to the structure members. So, and we also discussed about the concept of how can we use the function call by value as well as the by reference of the structure members address. So here we are going to discuss about the concept of how to create an array variable in terms of a structure variable. So basically what we are going to do is normally we used to create a structure, and then we used to discuss and then we used to create the variable for the particular structure. And what happens if the variable is being created in terms of a array? So let's say, for example, here I'm just creating the preprocessor directives, and let's say, for example, I'm creating a structure that is book. So the structure members of the book are let's say, for example, character of title, the book title. So let's say, for example, of size 20, and author name of size again 25, int number of pages, and let's say, for example, the price of the book is of float data type. So these are the structure members for the structure that is book. So in my main function, what we used to do is we used to create the structure variable. So by calling the name of the structure, we used to create the structure variable, and then we used to access the structure members with the help of the variable name dot the member name, and this is what we were able to do. Now what happens is, if I want to create some 100 records, or I want to access some 100 records for the structure book. So in that particular point of time, we cannot create 100 structure variables like B1 up to B100. That will be a little bit difficult. So what we are going to do is we are going to make use of the structure in terms of, a structure variable in terms of an array. So normally what we used to do is, whenever we try to create array variable, what we used to do is we just define the data type of that particular variable, and then we define the size of that particular array. So let's say, for example, here, if I want to let's say, for example, if I want to enter some 10 marks or marks of 10 students, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create an array of size 10, and I have to declare the data type of that particular elements, or the particular elements data type should be declared first. So what I'm doing is, we are first trying to give the data type of the particular variable, and then what we are doing is we are giving the name of the array variable and then specified by the size. So similarly, for creating a structure variable like an array, what we are supposed to do is we have to give the data type of that particular variable. So here what happens is, the name of the structure is book, and I'm creating a structure variable for that particular name, that is book, and I have to define the data type of that particular array variable. So here, very simply to say, we are just making use of a variable. We are just making use of a variable that has been followed by the name of the structure, and before that we have to declare what is the data type of that particular variable. So it means that B is actually a structure variable of the data type, that is structure, and it can hold 100 records. So here what I'm doing is, I'm just trying to print the size of B. So if you see, size of B is, let's say, for example, %d, and I'm just making use of the size of operator, the size of function of B. I'm just completing my main function definition. So you can see the size of that particular structure variable is 5100. So what happens is, we have the title value that is of 20 bytes of memory, and we have the author size array that is of 25. So both put up together it becomes 45, and the pages occupy 2 bytes of memory location. So 45 plus 2 becomes 47, and your float occupies, I mean the price of that particular book is of float data type, and it occupies 4 bytes. So all these put together it gives me 51 bytes of memory for one single structure variable. So there are 100 structure variables that you are trying to create. So what happens is this 100 will be multiplied with 51, so that you are able to see that the size of the array structure variables of 5100. So this is just the basic. Okay, so how you can create a structure variable like similar to an array variable. So what we have done is we have created a structure variable of array type, and before declaring that particular structure variable as an array type, we have to mention what is the name of the structure, and then we have to define the data type of that particular structure variable. So this is a syntax in order to declare your structure variable as an array. So you have to make use of the keyword that is struct followed by the name of the structure, and then you have to give the variable name followed by the size in the index. So this will be the syntax in order to declare your array, I mean in order to declare your structure variable in terms of an array. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the records from the user. So let's say for example here I'm trying to create a limit value, and then I'm making use of a variable that is I. For example, I'm going to get 5 records from the user. So I cannot make use of what is a printf and scanf statement. Let's say for example here I have to get the records for one particular book. There are 4 records that has been required: the title, the author, pages, and then the price. So for 5 books I cannot make use of 20 scanf statements. So 5 into 4, that is 20. So we cannot have 20 scanf statements to get all these records and assign to the corresponding structure members with the help of the array variable. So for that what we are going to do is we are going to make use of the for loop in order to get each and every record. So I'll just show you the illustration what happens. So first and foremost thing what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get how many records that the user wants to enter. So number of book records to enter. So I'm just putting the number of book records to enter, and I'm getting the value from the user, and I'm storing that value in the variable that is limit. So let's say for example I'm just going to give the record as 2. So I want to enter 2 book records during the runtime. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make use of a for loop starting from the I value equal to 0, because your array will start with the index value of 0. So I value starts with 0, and the condition will run up to less than the limit value. So and I keep on incrementing the index. So this is my for loop. So in this particular for loop I'm going to ask the user to enter the values. So first and foremost I'm asking the user to enter book 1 record, the first book record, or details. I'm just giving the I value that is getting incremented by 1. So initially I will have a value that is 0. So 0 plus 1, you will have the book record that is 1. So book 1, you are going to enter the details for book 1. So so here first and foremost thing we are going to enter the book title. So here I'm going to make use of a scanf function, and I'm getting the value from the user in terms of a string. So always remember, whenever you are trying to use the scanf statement using the %s character format, if you are going to enter the book title with some space, then remember the record that has been entered till the first space, that only will be considered into the corresponding variable. So we'll discuss this during the runtime. So here what I'm doing is I'm just going to get the value from the user. So I'm making use of my structure variable that is B, which is of an array data type. So the first record will be stored in the index value that is 0. So I value is correspondingly right now it is 0. So 0 is less than the limit that is 2. So your I value is equal to 0 now, and 0 is less than 2, the condition is true. Okay, so I value is 0 now. So I plus so 0 plus 1, the value becomes 1 here. That is why you can see that the book 1 record is going to be getting entered. So now here in the 0th index, that's the first record. Okay, we are going to get the title from the user. Okay, so the structure member is title. So I'm going to make use of the structure member, that is title. So in the previous examples, what we have done is whenever we are not using the structure variable as an array, we will simply give the name of the structure variable dot the structure member. And similarly here what we are doing is we are just trying to give the index value of the particular structure variable in terms of the I value followed by a dot operator, and then we have to give the structure member. So this is the syntax. So now we are going to get the next record, so I mean the next value, that is the author. Okay, so the author, and I'm going to store the value of the author similarly in your structure variable. So ampersand b of I dot author, and similarly I'm going to get the number of pages for that particular book. So we are going to make use of %d character format and b of I dot pages. So pages is the structure member, and finally we are going to get the price of the book. So again I'm going to make use of ampersand b of I dot price. So this is a syntax how you can get the input from the user using a for loop whenever you are going to make use of a structure variable of array type. So this particular condition will run up to 0 is less than 2. So which means you will get the I value equal to 0, and for I value equal to 0 you can get the entries for the first record. You can get the entries for the first record, and once that is done, your I value will be updated to it will be incremented, and the condition will be checked, and when the condition is checked your I value becomes 1, and 1 is less than 2. So which means you are going to get the entry for the second record. So once these entries are being received for both the records, then we have to print the result. So here what I'm going to do is again I'm going to print the records. So let's say for example the book details are I'm using a for loop. Again, I value equal to 0, I is less than limit, and I plus plus. So first I'm going to enter the just copy pasting this statement. So let's say for example book 1 details. So we have to enter the book title. So let's say for example here I'm going to make use of the %yes. So the value is being stored in your structure variable in the index, and you have to call the structure member. So this will be your syntax. Similarly, I have to enter the author name. So I'm just going to make use of the author name here. So author. And next you have to give the pages. So character format is %d, number of pages, and finally the book price. So book price. again I have to make use of the structure variable that is in the form of an array, and you have to call the structure member that is price. So this is just a syntax in order to retrieve the information from the user. Using the array variable, we have to make use of a for loop actually to print the book details. So when I'm trying to run this piece of code, okay, so number of book records enters, I'm going to give the entry for 2 books. So first, as I told you, you should not give any kind of any kind of space between the characters, so that you can get the complete entry. So let's say for example I'm giving Harry Potter and author J.K. Rowling, number of pages 1765. So here you can see that you are not able to get the price of the book, which is in the format of a float. So if you see the output window, you can see an error message that is floating point formats not linked, abnormal program termination. Now this is something very common in your C programming language. So especially when it comes to processing the floating point values in terms of a structure variable that has been declared in terms of an array. So basically what happens here is your compiler, it is trying to parse your source file. In this particular error, why it happens is your compiler, it is trying to parse the source file, and it is trying to make a reference to the address of address of your float, and there it sets a flag value in order to have the linker linking to the floating point emulator. So emulator is basically a imitation. It is trying to do the kind of operation what the system is intended to do. So basically a floating point emulator, what it is going to do is it is just going to manipulate the floating point values in the functions that is being used, like scanf, etc. So there are some cases in which this particular reference to the float value is not detected properly, and it needs an emulator. So basically a emulator is nothing but a intimator or imitator. So you know what do you mean by imitation? Imitation is something that you are trying to replace some other part, okay, that is trying to do the original work. So here basically in order to get the floating point manipulation, okay, we have to design a emulator. In order to design an emulator, so what we are going to do is we are going to write a standalone function that forces linking of the floating point emulator to your application. So I repeat this, so listen carefully. If you see the output window, you are able to see that floating point formats are not linked. Like that, you can see an error message and your program is getting terminated abnormally. So this happens why? Because whenever your source file is trying to get passed, your compiler is trying to make a reference to the address of that floating point, and there it sets a flag value to have the linker linking to that particular floating point. So what happens is you need an emulator, you need a trigger in order to use and manipulate this particular floating point values, okay, which is not been detected sometimes. So in order to do this particular floating point manipulation, we need an emulator. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write a separate function that will try to emulate, or that will try to avoid this kind of error during your runtime. So let's say for example here I'm just going to declare a function. Now this is very important. This happens for all your floating point, or let's say for example if you are trying to declare structure members of float, double, etc. So you try to make use of this particular function. So here what I'm doing is I'm just creating a function that is link float. So this particular function, it has been declared outside your main function. I mean it is defined outside your main function, link float. So here what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to create a float variable. Let's say for example x value equal to 0, and I'm trying to create another pointer variable of float data type, and I'm assigning the address of x to the pointer variable. And now your address, that is your x value, will have whatever value is been present for that particular pointer variable. So basically what I'm trying to do is, first and foremost thing, I'm trying to cause the imitation to be linked, or I'm trying to cause the imitation, that is the emulator, to be linked to perform the floating point value manipulation. This particular statement indicates that you are causing an emulator to link to your floating point manipulation. And when you try to so basically your pointer value, okay, it will have the value that's present in your address of the variable, that is x. So x is now holding the value that is 0. So again you are going to link that particular value 0 to the memory space. So this, what happens is, it will try to suppress the warning, or it will try to suppress the error in order to make the variable use and manipulate the floating point values. So this is just a simple function that we are trying to write in order to avoid the error that causes the abnormal termination of your program. So I'm just trying to compile this particular piece of code, and I'm trying to running this. So let's say, for example, I'm trying to run the same set of errors. So Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, number of pages, and then the price of the book, let's say for example 2500.75, and now I'm going to get the second book details. So second book details, let's say for example okay, let's say I'm just giving Malgudi Days, author Narayanam, number of pages 300, price of the book 220.95. So you can see the book details are getting retrieved. So we have seen how you can make use of a structure variable that has been declared in terms of an array, and so it is something similar to your normal array variable declaration. We used to give the data type followed by the name of the variable and then the size of your array. So similarly, what we are doing is, we are just first trying to declare the data type as a structure, and then we have to tell what is the name of the structure that you are referring to, followed by the variable name and then the size. So this is the syntax, and as usual you can set the limit value for how many number of records you want to have, and each and every record will be accessed with the help of the name of the structure variable, followed by the index value, and then followed by the structure member name. So this is a very simple example, and only one thing that you have to consider here is, when you are trying to get the floating point values, you have to ensure that you are trying to write a separate function that causes the emulation, or that is trying to imitate your compiler in order to process the floating point manipulation. And I have told you the reason why this particular error is going to happen. So whenever you are writing a source code, that source code will be parsed, and your compiler is trying to make a reference to the address of that particular floating point variable, and it is going to set a flag value so that your linker can link that particular floating point emulator, and it is trying to manipulate the values that is present in that particular address. But what happens is, most of the times whenever we are trying to do this particular kind of array of structure process with respect to the floating point or double data types, the references may not be detected, and it requires a imitation or an emulator, and for that purpose we are writing this particular function. So kindly go through this video. If you have any queries or doubts, you can post your questions in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video.